I'm not going to frame this so much because I think a lot, like what happens in our home media, everything is framed to us without us like ever getting the chance to experience and process for ourselves, given the details. So I'm just going to read an experience that happened to me, and it was a first and official document, but I thought about it in ways of like when you're going through the incidents, when you're out of the incidents, and you reflect upon it again, and just different people you talk to and the different personalities or whatever you go through when dealing with this. So bear with me. Okay. CF number 12003-549, Derrick Maddox. On December 12, 2012, around 12:30 a.m., I left my house to mail my car insurance. I live on West Avenue 26. The mailbox where I was headed is located at the corner of West Avenue 26 and Humboldt Street, which is about 5 streets or 4 blocks from my house. I was in a great mood that morning. My artwork had just been reviewed in an art magazine, so pretty much I was on top of the world. My attire upon leaving the house was fairly simple. I had on a black t-shirt, black jeans, white tennis shoes with blue trim. I left my house without my identity because I didn't think it was important. After all, I was just going down the street to mail a letter. Take note, I'm a black man. I'm a black male who's about 6'1" and I weigh about 190 pounds. So when I walked the 5 blocks nearing the corner of West Avenue 26 and Humboldt Street, where the mailbox was located, a police car drove by me and made a right turn. I didn't think anything of it and crossed the street to mail my letter. After mailing my letter, I crossed back over Humboldt Street and proceeded on my way home. I noticed a helicopter circling in the sky, but I didn't think much of that either. I paused for a moment to observe the helicopter and continued on my way home. Then out of nowhere, the patrol car zooms up, the one I'd seen earlier. The police car pulls up, speeding with its lights flashing. The police and I were separated by a row of parked cars. The man who was driving was wearing shades. He motioned me to approach the vehicle, but as a black man who's been harassed by the cops many times before, I felt I didn't have to stop because all I did was mail a letter. I'm not a dog. I don't respond well to people making demands on my person without a valid reason, so since I didn't do anything wrong, I just continued on my way. Never did I refuse the officers' directives. I only questioned the grounds for them stopping me. When the officers did not give me a suitable answer to my inquiry, I proceeded on my way, which is my right. So when the officer said stop, I didn't challenge them. I complied. I stopped, I turned to them, and I looked them in the face and said, "Is there a reason for you stopping me? And if there is no reason for you stopping me, I will continue on my way." So when the cop said stop a second time, once again, I complied. I stopped, turned to them, looked them in the face, and said, "If you have a valid reason for stopping me, I will stop. If you do not have a valid reason, then I will continue on my way." I didn't know what their intentions were. Since I didn't do anything wrong, I felt comfortable in my right to continue on my way home unassailed. However, that wasn't the case. Instead of acting with decorum as most well-adjusted adults would have done during a conflict resolution situation, these 2 officers resorted to juvenile tactics of bullying and intimidation, abusing their authority, inflicting their will on an innocent and confused citizen. I was never told what I was being stopped for. Instead, I was humiliated and abused both mentally and physically, for simply asking the question why. Why I was being stopped. At this point, I have to remind you of my attire upon leaving the house. A tight black t-shirt, black form-fitting jeans, white and blue tennis shoes. I'm totally unarmed. I have no jacket, no backpack, nothing in which to conceal a weapon. So at this point, I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. Why is one of the officers, Officer Reyes, running at me? Why is he running at me with his gun drawn? Running at me screaming, stop, stop. What did I do? I was not running away. I was not fleeing. So why is this officer drawing his gun? I was just walking, simply waiting for the proper response to why. Why they were stopping me when I've done nothing wrong. Stopping me when I've done nothing wrong but mail a letter. So now my day has gone from being super excited about my future to now worrying if I'm going to be shot in the middle of the street. Why? Because I decided to mail a letter? As I stated before, the officers in question, their actions weren't one of simple inquiry, but tactics of intimidation to work me up into emotional fervor so they could justify higher and higher degrees of force against my person. And yet get another chance to use their weaponized excuse, oh, we thought he had a gun. The police weren't looking for someone to help. They were literally looking for someone to beat up. So now I'm questioning the officer with the gun, Reyes, who now has a gun pointed at my face. Are you gonna shoot me? Why? I have done nothing wrong other than exercise my right as a citizen to question why you are stopping me. And there's no need for this type of force. Why are you stopping me from going home? Officer Reyes responds, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. No, I don't have to shut up. It is my right to question you why you're stopping me when I've done nothing wrong. At this point, two events were transpiring simultaneously. The Officer Reyes, now has the gun pointing at my midsection, screaming, get on the ground, while Officer Reyes is screaming, get on the ground. Another police car pulls up, which I can't see, and two additional officers come running up to me. The one in front, I believe it was Officer Chijeda, has his taser drawn, running at me like he's gonna tase me. I respond to Officer Chijeda with the taser gun. What? Are you gonna tase me? This is when the officers from the first car tackle me from behind and force me to my knees. Again, I ask, what did I do wrong? Without responding, they force me spread eagle with my face kissing the cement. I made no aggressive moves towards the officers, so now I'm wondering why. Why are the police using this type of force, which is totally unwarranted, telling the officers that you are violating my civil rights and you have yet to give me a reason for stopping me. So while I'm spread eagle on the sidewalk, one of the officers tells me to put my hands behind my back. Why? I have done nothing wrong. So the officers tell me again, place my hands behind my back. As I start to comply, Officer Chijeda, who's standing above me to the right, is trying to smash my hand into the sidewalk. So while I am trying not to have my fingers broken, Officer Reyes jumps on my back trying to apply some MMA move, trying to pry my left arm behind my back when I was already trying to place my hands behind my back. At this point, I told the officer there is no need for this type of force, and I will put my hands behind my back on my own volition. And this is where I started fearing for my life. Because here I was handcuffed when I've done nothing wrong. Here I am handcuffed when I've done nothing wrong. And I don't know if they're going to drive me somewhere and beat me up. Once handcuffed again, I reminded them that they were violating my civil rights by detaining me without a valid reason. Then the officers take me and place me in the back of the second patrol car. Then, Finally, after being turned into a human punching bag and being thoroughly embarrassed in my own community where I've lived for the past 7 years, beaten and humiliated in front of my neighbors who probably now think I'm some type of criminal. So I'm wondering, where does that time go? I'm wondering, where does that life go? So finally,
Beep, 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 beep.
the officer tells me why I'm being retained. The officer finally tells me that they had a report of a man trying to jump off a bridge. I just shook my head. Am I anywhere near a bridge? At this point, I questioned the description of the alleged suspect. The officers responded by saying the person they were looking for was a male with a black t-shirt and white tennis shoes. And I responded, you gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. With such a vague description, what gives you the right to stop me? And the officer says, the helicopter said it was you. The helicopter, yes, the helicopter said it was you. So then I stood still and held my breath and counted to 10. Seriously? Really? Here I am, an innocent citizen who was only walking down the street to mail a letter, and you mean to tell me I could be beat up, shot, or possibly killed because some guy in a helicopter gives the ground patrol some vagaries about a man wearing a black t-shirt and white tennis shoes on a bridge trying to commit suicide? Not a black man with a truly unique haircut. I am a dark black man who lives in a neighborhood which is 99% Latino. I can't possibly see how there could be such a discrepancy. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? So after being in the squad car for close to an hour, my background check comes back clean and I'm finally released. The officers never apologized. In fact, Officer Reyes, the one who just put me through one of the most traumatic events of my life, was mocking me. He was mocking me while I was sitting. He was mocking me while I was sitting waiting for his supervisors to come to file a report. The actions of these police need to be addressed immediately. The community needs police who are actually serve and protect us, and not lawless predators who use their authority to satisfy a bloodlust or make up for some inferiority complex. In this event, I find two things very, very disturbing. One is the fact that the officers in question were looking for someone who was suicidal. Is this the way the LAPD is trained to engage people who are emotionally unstable by using unwarranted force and intimidation instead of some type of nurturing technique? And the last point is one of personal feeling. I truly believe if this incident did not happen in a non-public space, or if it happened at night, I might not be writing this letter to you right now. And at best, I might be in intensive care. Why? Because I decided to mail a letter? Because I was at the wrong place at the wrong time? Plus now anything I said say will be discredited by the fabricated testimonies of 4 police officers. A gang. Yes, a gang. And it would be their fabricated testimonies against my little measly science fictional account of what had just taken place. And they'll say, yeah, well, remember, the police are humans. We're all humans. And guess what? Humans lie. So, to me, as an innocent citizen who was never arrested, it's clear that these police were just looking for someone, anyone, to beat up and harass, creating and adding more hate to the hatred which already exists in the world, making some other being feel less than human. Another victim, another tragedy, another black man you thought had a weapon. So I can see why the LAPD has public relations nightmares. Because some of the people you employ are violating people's civil rights and committing criminal acts under the guise of upholding the law. I ask, as a law-abiding citizen, what type of viewpoint I should hold when such a display of complete retardedness can result in the beating of an innocent person who was mailing a letter. But then I remember, oh yeah, I forget. The ones who commit the murders write the reports. Sincerely, Derrick Maddox, 549 West Avenue 26, Los Angeles.